Hello Internet, this is LordMaddog, and today we're doing another tutorial for SOULSLIKE project. And today we're going to talk about how to add artifacts. And you're going to ask, what in the world is an artifact? Well, I'm going to show you instead of trying to describe it. I'm going to go open my inventory here, and we're going to go ahead and equip an artifact, the Fine Ethereal Shard. This is basically a healing artifact, and right here you'll see that it spawned a little thing there. It floats around and follows the character. These are basically used in the Bullet Heaven time system, but the player can also always have one artifact on him. And as I said, this is a healing artifact. It heals you over time, and that's basically what an artifact is. Each artifact has different effects and what they can do. Today we're going to go ahead and make a lighting artifact, which will later then will be used in making a skill to cast magic light. So first off, we're going to do is we're going to find the mesh we're going to use for the artifact. This is going to be the mesh. This is a lighting lamp artifact. We're going to also make sure it has a collision. In this case, we're going to make a box collision. I don't want to do a sphere collision because I don't want it to roll around. Next thing we need to do is we're going to need to find a particle that is very much like what we're after. In this case, we're going to use the Holy Bible particle, because all of my artifacts uses a particle. That's how it follows the character around. We're going to duplicate the Bible one. We're going to call it floating lamp light, or floating lamp. Floating lamp. Here we are. We're going to open it up, and we're going to change settings in here. I'm not going to go each one of these does, because if you're a part of, you might need to learn about particle stuff, because I don't know too much about particles. This took me a long time to set up to figure out how to do it. First off, we're going to change the we'll turn off all those. We're going to change this to lamp. We're going to change our mesh render to lamp. There we are, floating lamp. We're going to change and actually turn on our light render, because this is what will actually give the light for the characters. There's another thing we need to do is instead of having use inverse square, we're going to just use the scalability of this. We're going to make these into first. We're going to change these values to something more reasonable. That would be way too bright. 0.4. Okay. We're going to also use user, because we want to be able to change these at runtime, especially when we change. We're going to actually change this this artifact into a skill to use later. So it's not going to actually like be an artifact that you get during gameplay. It'll be a skill that you cast, and it'll equip the artifact in the none slot. Okay. So oops, compiling. Come on. The problems with recording. Everything's a lot slower. Here we are. Let's go ahead and test this thing. Now that we have it made, we'll throw it into the world. We see here, this is what it will look like when it's floating above our character, around our character. It'll have the light that just kind of follows it, brightens everything up in the area. We can now, like I said, adjust this. We could change this to 1. We could change this to 1 and make it very dim all the way around. So very weak light. We can make it a little bit brighter. Make it very bright. There is now a bright light that follows us around. So that's a good test. We know that it's working perfectly the way we want it. Now we're going to need to find a artifact that's kind of like the last one. And right here we go. We already have the Holy Bible that we were using. We're going to open it up. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to change it to floating lamp. Oh, I got the L capitalized. I do that all the time. Don't lift up my finger fast enough. Floating lamp. Okay. Then we're going to now change some things in here. Viewport. First things we're going to change is, of course, the particle effect. So we got to go, instead of the floating Bible, we're going to floating lamp. Lamp. I must have spelled it wrong. I didn't have to. There it is, floating lamp. Then we're going to want to change our, want to see our static mesh. Nope, the static mesh is not changed. We want to change our drop mesh to lamp. Floating lamp. There we are. And then we're pretty much done with these settings over here. We want to come up here and start changing the actual actor settings itself. So what we have here, we don't need any of these. Don't need any of these. This is gonna floating lamp. Now, a magical light that floats over the character. light that floats around the user. There we are. That's better. Okay. We're going to change its icon. I've already made a icon float for this. I have gone over how to do that multiple times. Floating lap. Okay. Its weight, we don't want it to be weighing too much. Its value doesn't matter too much. Actually, we don't want it to weigh anything. So now we don't need weapon or skill stats because we're not messing with that at the moment. We're not doing with rarity buff. It is going to be equipped as an artifact for now. Like I said, later on, we will be changing it to something else. We don't want it to have this. In fact, we don't want it to have any stat buffs. And I do believe that is actually everything we want for this floating artifact to work. Let's go ahead and throw it in the world and test it. We need to change this right here. Floating lamp. There we are. It'll now... Oh, wait, no, that one won't work because... Oh, there was one thing we did miss. Okay, see how that did that? We forgot to change this custom static mesh. Where is it at? Here it is. The static mesh, this thing right here. So the Bible, we want lamp. There we are. That's only a visual for like this right there. That's why it's showing the there it is. Instead of the Bible floated lamp. Hit play. Drops to the ground. We'll pick it up here. It's a poor floating lamp. And we'll go ahead and equip it. And there we go. Now we'll find that there is one small bug that we have is when it goes off screen. There, see the light stops being shown. Now that's called because an actor bounds. So we're going to need to go into the actor settings right here, the floating lamp settings. We need to select on this one. We type bounds. And instead of 1, we want this to 100. And that'll fix the problem with the light despawning when it's not in view. You might need to do that for multiple artifacts. Some artifacts will have little particles that follow after it. Oh, we got a good one this time. Look at that. So we'll go ahead and equip the lamp. And we'll see here that problem is now fixed. And we have a working artifact. Now, another thing that we might want to do for this, because we don't really want the lamp to always be in front of the character and around it, we might want to change where the lamp is going to be seen at. So in here, we're going to go into unequip, set random lock, and we're going to change our height min height value. So this is where when you equip it, it just basically equips it in the general area around the character. So this right here, we're going to change this to the minimum of being plus 30, minimum plus 30, and we're going to make this more like 2. So now it won't be down and around the character, it'll be floating up in the sky. So let's go ahead and test that out. Come on, there we are. Click on it. There we are. I may have made it too high. Oh, whoa, wait. I may have gone the opposite direction. Is it? I think I messed up with the settings here. Let's see here. X value, Y value, Z value. Oh, okay. It's the Y value we're actually after, not... we need this one back to Z value. That needs to be back minus 30 and isn't 60. Yeah. This is the one we're after, the Y, X. Trying to remember if X is Y, because they're different in Maya. I use a... So that's the Y. Here. The blue is... What is the blue? Oops. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Blue is the what? That's the X or the Y? It's the X. It's the X value? Huh. Okay. Yeah. So in this case, relative location, the X, we need to change it. Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll figure that out off screen. But basically, that's how you do this. Do this setup for a artifact. If you have liked this tutorial or have any questions, likes, shares, and comments are always welcome. LordMaddog signing off.